always like to check, well, a safe place to start is always your south-facing window.
Yep.
That's going to get the longest, if you don't have, all other things considering, I guess, if you don't have trees or shade or curtains drawn
or
indoors,
house next door.
then the south-facing window is the best place to start looking for light inside. But when you're thinking about your light indoors, then you really want softer light. Usually is what's going to come through the windows, but even if you're getting direct light, that's usually okay for your plants.
I would agree. A lot of people use their kitchen window for herbs and stuff. So normally if you look at that space, I usually will snap a picture every 3 hours from the time I get up to see about how many hours of sunlight you have in that space. So then you know if things need like full sun, or if they say they need more than 6 hours of sunlight, you know if you actually have that amount of sun. If not, you may have to pick a different window in the house, or maybe go outdoors. But yeah, sunlight is a huge consideration.
Yeah.
A lot of people find that when they don't have a lot of sun, you know how like when the plants get leggy because they don't get enough light, but like where they spring up and then they get too tall too fast.
Yeah,
because they're looking for more light.
That's totally happened to me before. Starting growing inside is just like if you grow in a place that doesn't have enough light, exactly, the plant essentially will be like, where is my sun? And will try so hard to get up, but then that's making a really weak plant, and unfortunately it'll die. Or it'll break at the base, and then that's a good way for you to know maybe it didn't get enough light.
Right.
So yeah, the best thing to do is to try and find a space indoors, if you're going to grow indoors, that has long light in the day. And yeah, if not, then trying to find a space outdoors.
And too, I would say long light in the day and doesn't get too cold at night.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that I learned the hard way is, you know, there will be good light, but it was near a window that was really drafty and cold. And so then all the plants are just kind of like hanging over because they're too cold. Mm-hmm. You know, like, cause if somebody wanted to start collards right now, it would be a high risk of those, like bolting. Right. So do we want to say to people like certain stuff you need to start earlier when it's a little bit cooler, and then you're harvesting it now. If you're starting your garden at the end of June, then you're probably not going to want to start like your spinach or kale and stuff like that that late, because you're not going to get a big harvest out of it. Yeah. So right here, we want to make sure that we know the difference between dry soil and moist soil, because it's hard for your seeds to germinate and go from seed to where they start to sprout in dry soil. So you have to keep your soil moist. And as you can see here, this is really dry. It's crumbly. It's really gray. When we've moistened it, it looks like this. And then two, if you stick your finger in and you see that there's still kind of the dusty part, you're going to need some more water. So you see down there, if your plant roots are there, you're still dry where your plant roots would be. So you want to make sure when you water, you get adequate water down far enough so that your roots can take up the water in the soil, and it's not just on the surface. Because you don't want your plants to be sitting in water. You don't want their roots, once they start to have roots, to sit in water all the time, because it can cause them to rot. So we want to make sure that there is space for the excess water to come out and not end up in your house. So. Yeah. You should always have holes if you're growing indoors or outdoors in pots. And if you're indoors especially, you want to make sure you have some kind of plate or tray, something to catch the water when it comes out, because not only will it be wet, it will be dirty. So these are our seeds, and then what we usually do is poke a hole in the soil and then drop in a seed. Okay. And then I'm going to cover it over, and then we usually will put water on top of it. Or something that I'm always thinking about when I'm seeding is that you put the seed usually as deep as the seed is tall, if that makes sense. So like a bean seed is going to be about 1/4 inch tall, so you'd want it to go deeper than these spinach seeds, which can be pretty shallow on the soil.